Hi there, this is Kevin from healthagentacademy.com, and in this video I'm going to be showing you a little review of the pre-licensing company that I like to recommend, which is called License Coach. License Coach is one of many different pre-licensing courses you can take while you're studying to get your insurance license. I am an affiliate in total disclosure, but I do recommend them. Through this channel and professionally, I recommend people use them for quite a few different reasons. And in this video, I'm going to show you some reasons why I recommend them and also give you a little tour of what the product looks like if you do decide to get it. So one of the reasons I like them as much as I do is their pass rate is pretty high. Now, on this little pre-licensing school's annual report card that you see here, this shows for the entirety of 2014, which I was able to find through the Florida Department of Financial Services website, pass rates for various pre-licensing provider companies. So on this, it shows how many people had taken the test or how many attempts were made by students of a particular company and what the pass rate was. And the pass rate, at least in Florida, is about 50-50. Now, I venture to say it's probably about the same in most states. Most states don't put out as much information, especially as deep as Florida does, with regards to what the pass rate is, and especially showing it by vendor. So more information could be out there from other states, but I do like the fact that at least in the state of Florida, which is why I'm showing it to you, they do show the pass rates. So License Coach, from my understanding, you can use in 48 of 50 states, Illinois, and possibly Hawaii. But if you're in Hawaii, you can always try it. And the reason for that is those states where they can't offer pre-licensing courses is because those states require that you take it in class as opposed to online. I do like the fact that it's online for busy lives. But anyway, enough of my rambling there. The reason why I wanted to show you this is you can see most companies are in the 40s, 50s, some 60s as far as percent of students that pass. So this column right here is pass rate versus the next column here is fail rate. So again, that's what, like for example, this first one is about 50-50, which is about average. Some are lower than that, some are higher. Now you see this one here is 100%, but at least for that particular year, they only had 2 attempts made, so I wouldn't say that's necessarily statistically valid. So you want to look at the companies that have, at least in my opinion, you want to look at the ones that have a bigger track record, because at least from a data standpoint, you get a wider range of people taking it. So the law of averages says that it's a more statistically valid, I guess you could say. Now, as I scroll down here, I'll show you License Coach. Right here, that's them, BKL Holdings, thelicensecoach.com. They had a pass rate for this particular year of 72% out of 1,400 students. So that's not a small number of students. It's not the most of anybody, but it's a pretty good number. And you'll see here that 72% passed and about 28% did not on the attempts that they made. And that's important to note is because if you think about it, you want to be able to give yourself the best chance of passing, because it only delays you from getting in the game, so to speak, and being able to sell insurance. Again, probably not the right word, but the sooner you pass, the sooner you can be out there helping clients and selling insurance. And if you're having to spend more money and more time to take the licensing exam again, then that really only goes to hurt you, so to speak, because you want to get in there as soon as possible. So that's one of the reasons why I like License Coach. They have such a high pass rate that it gives you the better chance of succeeding. All right, so now just to show you a little bit about their product, and this particular screen I'm showing you, this is one of the newer ones, which they do have in the state of Florida. It's just more the some of the bells, not even necessarily bells and whistles, but the screens that you see could be a little different depending on what state you're in. I know they're looking to switch to this from my understanding in most other states, but they're doing it kind of in phases. Now, again, but if you have a different one, it's this entire list of pass rates where they did pretty well was all with their previous product. So if your product doesn't look like this, you'll still be fine. And students I've seen that have used it since they've rolled out to this new product have done well as well. All right, so looking at this shows you kind of where you're at, what it is you need to do. So it shows me the ones I completed because I have a little check mark there. If I wanted to go back to where I left off, I could hit resume. I could also navigate this way. So if I go over here to insurance overview, I click on that and it shows me the different sections within insurance overview. And this is all the stuff I got to make sure to do now because I've only really done the start. It'll only let me click there. So as I go, time goes on. It also is a way of knowing where you are left off. Because it'll only give you access to the link if that's one that you had been on. Calendar here, it shows you a little calendar. They do set it up so you can hold yourself accountable that if you wanted to be done by a certain date, you would need to have a certain amount done each day. So it kind of does help you see what your progress is. And then over here, study tools. This is the part I really like, and this is why I think they do as well as they do, is that they have glossaries, they have flashcards, they have what they call cram sheets, reviews, which are like kind of like practice exams. Then they also have some audio here as well. Now the glossary, there's things I like and probably would change. If I could, about the glossary. I do like the fact that they've got everything in here. The parts that I like is if you're reading something and there's something in here that actually is another definition, you can click on it and it pops it up. So if you weren't sure what reduction was or how they're stating it, then you could click on it. It would bring up another kind of glossary pop-up. And then if you were reading that and you're like, okay, well, I'm not sure what they mean by exposure, I could look up here for exposure and say, oh, okay, well, I'm not sure what they mean by hazard. And now it gives me this. So it gives you more definitions. So it helps you if you're not 100% sure the definitions, which sometimes insurance can be a little confusing. So that is one of the nice things there, is that it gives you easy links to many of the other definitions as you're studying those definitions. Now, what I would change about it is it looks a little bunched up, which, who knows, maybe by the time you're watching this, they will have fixed that. But I'd probably change that part. And then here, where it scrolls, nothing actually happens. But, I mean, that's just being nitpicky, because it actually is still, the content is what matters, and that's it's good, and I think that's why they have such a pass rate, because it is good content in here. Another thing they have in here is flashcards. So you can just click on here on the flashcard, and it'll bring a flashcard up. With the group policy, employers do not have to prove, and if you weren't sure what the answer was, evidence of insurability. So that's one way it can help you with concepts and whatnot. And you can say whether or not you guessed right or not, because if you did, it's going to put it in different stacks and whatnot, so you could study it again later. Cram sheets, I like this. If you're like me, and maybe I'm dating myself by saying this, but I used quite a bit of Cliff Notes in high school, and this is kind of like the Cliff Notes of everything. Now, I would still make sure to go back and read every section and every chapter, but this is good for when you're going back and reviewing, to make sure you've got all the concepts down, lots of bullet points, talks about a lot of the high-level terminology, which is sometimes where people can get tripped up. I like this part a lot, actually, and it's 58 pages worth, so it's not a small amount of information, but to be honest, there's not a small amount of information they expect you to know when you take your state exam, and I'm pretty confident that that's the way it is in every state. I mean, at the end of the day, they want their agents to be knowledgeable when they're out there helping customers and clients. So this is one way to help make sure that you are knowledgeable, is that you know all this terminology. And so License Coach gives it to you in a pretty easy format, and this is one of many formats you have at your disposal for when you're studying. Also, if you click over here to review, you've got reviews. And this is a review exam, so you can do an exam just to study. And then if you go over here to on demand, they've got some audio and some videos, so you can just kind of go through and see what it is that you need help with. So they've got videos and audio. You can see by the different things here, which just gives you some backup information. And then also when it's time to take your final exam, now it's not letting me do it because I haven't completed everything, which is to my benefit because I want to make sure I do all that stuff. But you take your final exam there, you pass that final exam, and then you're ready to take your state exam. Now, again, depending on your state, some might be a little different. Different states have different requirements, so it might not look exactly like this, even if it's their other platform, which looks a little different. But again, the information is going to pretty much all be the same. But all in all, I found it to be a good platform. I found that their product does help people get ready for the state exam. That's the main thing more than anything, is you want to make sure, whether you go with License Coach or another company, you just want to make sure that you are prepared when you take your state exam. So as long as you're giving yourself a good chance of passing that state exam, then that's all you really need to know. So hopefully you found this helpful. If you did, please like and comment below. And no matter what it is you're looking to do, if you're getting started on your insurance career, I just want to wish you the best of luck. It's a great industry. I've enjoyed being in it, and hopefully you will as well. Thanks.